brother sat here and got all this information, was blessed to know the truth, but yet sold it to get in cool with white America. Every time he speaks about our esoteric history, he want to include them. You know what I'm saying? We built the pyramids. We, as in the Aboriginal beings, built the pyramids. All humanity ain't had nothing to do with that. But every time he speaks and everything he do, he wants to include all of humanity. Because he don't want to go too hard against master. He know he know the truth. This is my issue with Billy Carson. He know the truth. And his brother know exactly who I am. Go listen to Billy Carson lectures and read his books before Rashad Jamal 2020. And then after 2020, he started studying my lectures and adding things from my lectures into his lectures. Billy Carson was out before me. He wasn't saying some of the things that he began to add. He didn't start doing that until after Rashad Jamal. Also, he's been misleading you about the Anunnaki, along with mainstream media. When they speak of the Anunnaki, they say that the Anunnaki are the evil ones that are controlling the world. When in actuality, the Anunnaki gods are all your Aboriginal beings, man. Your so-called blacks and Latinos walking around you. All right? Then Billy Carson did a debate with a Christian theologist and lost the debate. First off, if you're truly a divine messenger, there's nothing to debate. We are here to teach. We don't debate about nothing. This ain't no sport. This ain't no goddamn sport. This ain't no goddamn debate team. We in a real life spiritual war. We in a war against Satan and his kingdom for the souls of all of humanity and the gods, and you out here debating. And then when you debate, nigga, you lose it purposely. So now you make the Christian theology look like he's telling the truth. Purposely. Go watch the debate. Go look at him in that debate and look at Billy Carson on the other side. That wasn't the same Billy Carson, man. What happened to him? What happened that day? Now all of a sudden you lost for words? Come on now. No, man. That's just like the boxer who throws the fight so that they can win the bet in Vegas. Or the basketball. Remember Chris Webber did that in basketball, y'all. He knew Michigan ain't had no timeouts left when the championship game. He still called the timeout because he had took the money under the table. That was an under-the-table play. You know how many people stopped listening to Billy Carson after he did that? And this is another brother who know who I am. Ain't never said free Rashad Jamal, but yet he incorporates my theses, my ideology into his teachings. You claim to be for the people, but yet you turn around and every time you do put out a download, you're trying to include, no, don't rewrite history, nigga, Negro. Tell the truth. So what they call you racist? I ain't racist, but white folks, y'all just got here. That's the damn truth. Just like my people suffer from lack of knowledge of self. We here to tell it like it is, man. But he don't do that. Sometimes he pretends to be for the people, but he's an actual puppet, like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. See what I'm saying? Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and the nigga probably gonna outlive everybody too. Just like Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, because he making master happy. See, they love put people in position to look like they for the people, but they're actually being controlled by the oppressors. That's Billy Carson. The saying go for 19 keys. Me and my team reached out to this brother. He ordered and everything. Ain't got back with us, ain't said nothing, like he uppity. But 19 keys came through a door to Rashad Jamal open for him. 19 keys came after Rashad Jamal Cosby's family. In fact, he calls himself 19 keys because I was teaching y'all about the 19th galaxy. And that's where we Anunnaki gods come from. He claims to be, he wear the fez cap like he's a Muslim, but a Muslim is one who surrenders to the will of Allah. That's what a Muslim really is. That's what a Muslim really is. And in the Quran, they quote about the prophets and how we have to stand together and fight against evil. And if 19 Keys is almost fellow comrade in this struggle as a black activist against oppression, why has he not stood shoulder to shoulder?
This is the Afterlife discussion. I had to come and make this video. I'm not feeling good at all this AM. My health is on the lamb again. But I wanted to make this video because I have been trying to get out everything that I need to say while I have the time to say it. And the video of which you have just seen, I saw it this AM on social media along with a few other videos, and it just reminded me how there are going to be so many that are not going to escape from the confines of this matrix. So many that are going to reincarnate after their physical time is done here. And I'm going to say this, I never said this before, but I am going to say it now. 99% of the people talking about the reincarnation trick and the prison planet theory, that is, they're all frauds. All of them. They're not in it for genuine reasons. They do not genuinely believe the things of which they are telling people, because it shows in what they say and how they act. 99% of the people who talk about the reincarnation trick, or as they call it, the trap, and how this is a prison planet, either they're talking about those two topics because it's popular to talk about them, and so why not jump on the bandwagon? Or they're talking about it because they feel it will get them attention. Massive, massive attention. And then you have others who are talking about it to try to gain power over others, financially and in all other ways. And I'm not bragging about myself because I'm just a regular person. I've always said this. I'm no one that is above anyone else. But it really seems like there are only about 1% of the people of the world who are like me, who are truly, genuinely believing what they're saying, who is truly living what they're saying. I have not found a lot of people who are like me in that retrospect. I found some, but not a lot. And that's a sad thing, but it reminds me that not everyone is going to leave this prison planet when they transfer from this physical realm to the afterlife realm. You have people talking about how, they need to escape the reincarnation trick, and about how this is a prison planet, yet they still are practicing and teaching racism. And I don't understand for the life of me how you can practice and teach racism and still be a person who is in support of escaping the reincarnation trick and escaping this prison planet. I don't know how those two things work. I saw a video on TikTok and I tried to download it, but I couldn't. For some reason, it was not coming through. But there was this guy, and he was talking about how people need to escape the reincarnation trap, as he called it, after death. But he said that the only reason why they should escape it is to get away from white people, because Malcolm X said that segregation is the key. And I'm listening to this guy and I'm thinking, how blind do you have to be to say something like that? Number one, I can absolutely assure you that once Malcolm X crossed over into the afterlife, all of that segregation talk that he had here on earth, that was gone. That was done. He's not talking that way now, not since being at the Summerland, and that's exactly where Malcolm X is at the Summerland. That's exactly where he is, because he crossed over believing in Islam. And Islam is a religion that comes from Marduk. Malcolm X is at the Summerland, either awaiting reincarnation, or perhaps by now he's probably already been reincarnated. So he's gone and lost. And before he got reincarnated, if he has already been reincarnated, you better believe he dropped all of that segregation talk, because when he got to the Summerland, he realized that that was the same type of talk that led him to the Summerland. You see, but people, they use him as a tool to keep up this racist ideology, but yet they claim they're going to escape. No, you're not. How in the hell are you going to escape when you still hold on to the belief that black people are superior or white people are superior? How can you escape with that rhetoric in your mind? Because I can tell you right now, black people are not superior and neither are white people. And neither are the Latinos, Hispanics, and Mexicans. Neither are the Jews. No one is superior over anyone else because we are all equally superior. But people don't think that way, yet they're going to escape, right? Because what are they going to do when they get to Pleroma and they see that it's not just black people? It's not just white people. It's blacks, it's whites, it's Latinos, it's Hispanics, it's Mexicans, it's Jews, it's Russians, it's Irish, it's Scottish. It's French people there. What are they going to do then? What are they going to try to change Pleroma? You won't be able to. You're not going to turn Pleroma into a whites only realm or a black only realm. You're not going to do that. So what are you going to do? You see, but people don't stop and think about this, but yet they're so spiritually woke. You cannot be spiritually woke and still think white people are the enemy. You cannot be spiritually woke and still think black people are the enemy. Let me tell you something. I grew up receiving a lot of bullying from Spanish people in my school. I mean, the bullying I received from them, if I were to tell you, you probably would be in tears. And as a result, for so many years, I used to hate Spanish people. And when I say hate, I mean hate. I hated their guts. I hated Latinos, Hispanics, Mexicans, even though it was Spanish children who bullied me. But I hated anyone who was just Spanish. You're Mexican, I hated you. I hated them. But then I came into the spirituality knowledge. And I began to realize that just because what I experienced from a handful of Spanish kids doesn't mean that I should hate every person who's Spanish or who's Latino or Mexican. Because you have good and you have bad. And the ones who do the bad, they're doing the bad because they are influenced by Lucifer and Satan to do those things. But I should align myself with the good because ones who are good are the ones who are just like me. They are fragments of the universe and they remember that they're fragments of the universe. So therefore, they are just like me. They are me and I am them. And to this day, I can honestly say there are Latinos, Hispanics, and Mexicans out there that I love. And I never used to think I would ever get to a point of saying that, but I do. I love the ones who have the same mindset as I do. Because I know the ones that have the same mindset as I do, those are the ones who are fragments of the universe just like me. Whereas the ones who do all of the evil things and the mean-spirited things, those are the NPCs. Yeah, they look like they're human, but they're NPCs. And there are many of them that are NPCs. You see, because when I get to Pleroma and I see Latinos, Hispanics, and Mexicans up there, what am I going to do? I say if I were to cross over, and if it were a thing whereas I could cross over with that same hatred and make it to Pleroma, what am I going to do when I see them there? What am I going to turn around and come back down here? Or what am I going to do? Kick them out? Because no, that's not how it works. But a lot of these people who talk about the reincarnation trick and the prison planet theory, they're racist. They're racist against whites and they're racist against blacks, but yet and still they're going to escape. No, you're not. Not with that mindset. When you're talking about escaping the reincarnation trick and escaping this matrix and going home, you have to let go of all of that. You have to let go of all of this talk of, yeah, we should have segregated. You have to let go of all of that because if you are carrying that over, you're going nowhere. You have to let go of all of the things that was done to your people and that what may have been done to you. You have to let that go. See, that's a part of the attachments that you have to let go. And if you cannot let that go, you're going nowhere. My grandfather parents were the children of slaves. And I have heard my mother, I've heard my aunts and uncles talk about the things that my grandparents and their parents went through. And that alone should make me hate all white people. But I can't do that. I can't do that because I know that there is good and there is bad. And there are some good white people out there. And those are the ones that are fragments of the universe, like I am a fragment of the universe. The ones that are bad are the ones that are NPCs. And NPCs did not just come into existence in 1999. It's been in existence since humanity first began. They were in existence in Germany during the Holocaust. They were in existence when the Irish went through the abuse that they went through. They were in existence during the slavery days, during the civil rights days. They've always been in existence. They're NPCs. NPCs that are designed to attack and destroy. But see, people don't look at it that way because they say they're spiritual, but they're not. They're not spiritual. Because to be spiritual is to truly understand that. You can't be spiritual halfway. You have to be spiritual all of the way. All of the grudges that you have against someone who is a different color than you, you have to let that go. Because if you don't, you're going nowhere. You have to let those grudges go. You have to let these earthly beliefs go of segregation and black people need to have their own and white people need to have their own. You need to let that go because if you don't, you're going nowhere. Do you know there are researchers who are white on here who talk about the reincarnation trick? And I have contacted them and I have asked them, can you come on to my YouTube channel and share the information that you know? Because sharing is caring. The more information we know, the better. But they have said no. And you know why they have said no? Because they're not going to come onto a black person's podcast and share any information. No, this information is for whites only. And I know that they think like this because I have said this time and time before, and I will say it again. I can read people. And I believe that my ability to be able to read people not only comes from me being a spiritually chosen person. And when I say chosen, I'm not the only one that's chosen. Everyone who is not an NPC on this earth is chosen. A lot of people just don't realize it. So I'm not the only one. Okay. But it doesn't come from me being a spiritually chosen person, just from that. And I do believe this plays a big part in all of the souls who are actual souls here on this earth. Your zodiac sign plays a bigger part in who you are. Spiritually, it plays a huge part. And by me being a Sagittarius people, they can read people. They can read people quite well. And I will say again, as I have said a few times before, your zodiac sign plays a big part. I truly believe, unless I find out otherwise, it plays a big part in who you are outside of the body. I wholeheartedly believe that. And so with me being a person who is who can see, who can read through people, when I receive emails from them, from these researchers saying, no, I'm not doing any more interviews. No, I'm not doing this or that. And I know why. I know exactly why. When I send a researcher an email and they don't respond back, I know why. Because they're talking about spirituality, but they're still holding on to that racist ideology. No, she's black. No, she doesn't need the information. This is only for my white people. And this is how it is. But they'll get in front of the mic and they'll talk about the reincarnation trap and this prison planet theory and how we need to be awake here, awake there. We need to do spiritual work. But then you don't believe that, because doing spiritual work is also getting rid of this racist ideology that you have in your mind. Because yes, if I had information that I know that the masses need to know about, and someone wants me to be on their show, so that I can share that information. I'm going, because if I can get the information that I have out to as many people as possible, that's a win. That's a win. But these same researchers, I've seen them be on podcasts that are hosted by those who look like them. But those who don't look like them, no, they're not coming on their podcast to talk about anything, to share anything. But they are so spiritually woke. This is what I mean when I say not everybody is going to escape. And you have 1%, and I do mean only 1%, who thinks like I do. I'm telling you, I don't care what race you are. If you're good to me, I'm good to you. And even if you aren't good to me, I'm not going to not be good to you. I'm just going to ignore you because I will know that you are an NPC. But I'm not going to take your bad actions that you have displayed towards me and account it to every single person who looks just like you. I'm not going to do that. I would literally give the shirt off my back to a black person and to a white person. I would do it. No questions asked. You don't need to pay me back for anything. But other people don't think like that. But they're so spiritual. They're so spiritual. No, they're not. They're frauds because you are lying to the people. You're talking about the reincarnation trick this, the reincarnation trick that, and prison planet this and prison planet that. But then you're still separating yourself from those who are you. And that's not what Mother Gaia, the universe, would have wanted. Because if that was, then when you get to Pleroma, you would only see one racial group. That's not happening. This is why I have a problem with David Icke. Because David Icke, he talks a good game. Oh, he talks a good game, and a lot of the things that he says is true. But then he talks about the white replacement theory. The white replacement theory, which is in and of itself false. There is no such thing as a white replacement theory. But this is what I have heard him talk about. And who does he draw in with that talk? White people. Because black people aren't being drawn in by that, because they are turned off when he talks about that. So what he is essentially doing is he's only reaching white souls. Well, souls in white bodies. Let me correct that. But yet he thinks he's going to escape. He is going to get reincarnated the second he crosses over into the afterlife. Oh, he is going to the Summerland. That's where he is going. Because you cannot just reach out to one racial group. You have to reach out to everyone. My videos, I constantly say this all the time, my videos are not just for souls in white bodies. They are for souls in black bodies, souls in Latino, Hispanic, Mexican bodies, souls in Jewish bodies, souls in this body. They're for everyone, because everyone needs to know the truth so they can go home. Not just white people, not just black people. But he is so spiritually awakened, and I see people commenting all the time about him. Oh, David Icke, he's so telling the truth. Oh, David Icke is a fraud. He is a fraud. And no, I am not saying this so that people can turn him off and turn to me. I don't give a damn if you turn to me or not. I don't care. I'm saying it because it's time to be said. David Icke is a fraud. He is a big fraud. He's living a lie. The life that he talks about, he doesn't even live. And then you have those like Rashad Jamal. And I don't know if a lot of you all have heard of Rashad Jamal, but he's this guy that goes around and he talks about the prison planet theory, the reincarnation trap. He talks about all of that, but he only talks about it with his own black people. The same way Bobby Hemmett does. And this is why I say I take what I can from Bobby Hemmett and I leave the rest. And I'm going to get on Bobby Hemmett as well, too. But Rashad Jamal, he only is talking to black people as if only black people are going to be able to escape. This is bullshit. And I've listened to him talk. He calls white people Neanderthals, and let me correct that, anyone who isn't black or Hispanic or Native American, they're not any good. That is the biggest lie. And see, this is how you know it's a lie. Because if that was true that the only people that are truly gods and goddesses are black people, Latinos, Hispanics, and Mexicans, and Native Americans, don't you think that the government, the powers that be, would be pushing for people to come together and unite? They would be doing the complete opposite, because if people come together and unite, they won't look at each other as, hey, no, white people aren't the gods and goddesses, it's only the blacks, the Latinos, Hispanics, and Mexicans, and Native Americans. No, the powers that be work every day to keep us divided. Why is that? Why is that? They are keeping us divided because they know if we all come together, we will find out that we are all connected. You and I, we're all brothers and sisters. No, we don't have the same mother and father, but we're still brothers and sisters. Still. We're all fragments of the universe, and the government doesn't want us to know that. This is why they keep pushing this divide and conquer agenda, and they've had their puppets do it all throughout time. And they're still doing it. Through people like Rashad Jamal and David Icke and the many others. I can name so many others. Tony Sayers and all the rest of them. All of them. Every single one of them, all of them out there, some of them do it in hinted ways, some of them do it directly, but they're all teaching divide and conquer. That's what they're teaching. And I know they're teaching it. See, when you watch these people, you have to really, don't just listen to them on the outer surface, listen to them on the inner surface. And when you listen to them on the inner surface, they'll tell you what they're all about. They're practicing that separation, which is exactly what the powers that be practice. Separate. The black person is the enemy. The white person is the enemy. The Chinese, they're the enemy. The Latinos, Hispanics, and Mexicans, they're the enemy. They did it at the Super Bowl yesterday. That Super Bowl halftime was nothing but a divide and conquer tactic. The whole thing, from the beginning of the Lift Every Voice and Sing to the America the Beautiful anthem, the whole thing was a divide and conquer racial agenda. But Rashad Jamal, this is what he teaches. Teaches that only black people are the gods and goddesses, and they are far superior than anyone else. This is what Enki, who is Lucifer, and Marduk, who is Satan, this is what they tell their people, the powers that be. You all are far superior than all the rest of the useless eaters. Now act like it. This is what they teach them. So why do we have spiritual people teaching the same things that Lucifer and Satan teach to the powers that be? Why? But yet and still, the people that are teaching this, they're so awoke. No, you're not awoke. You are so dumbed down and blind, it's not even funny. And it's time to call this out, because I'm sick of this. I am so sick of hearing black, white, black, white. I am so sick of this shit, it doesn't make any sense. But I keep hearing it. I keep hearing it. It feels like I'm being drowned by a bunch of idiots. The same idiots who are talking about the reincarnation trick and the prison planet theory. All of us are superior. If anything, to be honest about it, we are superior together over Enki and Marduk and the rest of the Anunnaki clan and the powers that be. We are all superior. We're all the gods and goddesses. That's what the government doesn't want you to know. That's why they keep pushing this racial divide and conquer. The terms white privilege, where do you think that came from? It came from the government. You have no privileges here on this earth. You have no privileges. What privilege do you have? To get up and go to work and slave over a job to get money? To have to feed yourself GMO food in order to survive? What privileges do you have? White people don't have any privileges. But why was that term invented? That term was invented to further continue the racial divide and conquer agenda. And you have stupid black people who are running with it. Yeah, the white privilege. The only ones who have privilege on this earth are the powers that be. Because if white people had privilege, then how come you have white people on Skid Row? I mean, why don't they just use their white privilege to get off of Skid Row? If white people had white privilege, why is it that you had people like Bill Cooper who was killed for telling the truth? Why didn't he use his white privilege to get out of it? It's bull. It's to make you think in your mind, if you are a person of color, yeah, the white people, they have so much privilege. This is why I can't stand them, because I'll never get ahead. And this is how it's going to be even in the afterlife. So let me start separating myself from them now, all of them. That's the mindset that Enki and Marduk wants you to take. They want you to take that mindset. But people don't understand this. They think that when they hear things like this, I am being a coon, I'm being a sellout, I'm being a in-house nigga. That's what they think. That's exactly what they think, because I'm not preaching, hey, segregation, divide ourselves. We need to have our own. We did have our own. We all had our own together, living with each other, our own in Pleroma, before Lucifer and Satan took us out of that realm through trickery and brought us down here. So we did have our own. We had our own of everything together. We had it. You just don't remember it because you have this silly ass thing called the memory wipe. But Mother Gaia never wanted it, whereas, hey, only black people have this by themselves. Mother Gaia never wanted that. But this is what people want, because they're in these earthly bodies and they're so blind. You heard Rashad Jamal talk about how Billy Carson is a fraud. You know what? To be honest about it, both of them are frauds. Billy Carson is a huge fraud. Billy Carson believes Jesus Christ existed. Jesus Christ never existed, people. He has never existed. There is not one shred of any proof that Jesus Christ existed. But you know what? There's proof that Enki and Marduk existed. There's proof that they existed. There's proof that the Anunnaki existed. There's proof. Don't you think by now we would have found some type of tangible proof that there was a man named Jesus Christ walking this earth? Don't you think we would have found it by now? We haven't found it because he does not exist. Jesus wasn't a prophet. He wasn't a Messiah. Jesus was a personality that came from Marduk, Satan. But this is what Billy Carson talks about. How Jesus Christ is real, but he was, he was a prophet. And how the Bible hid so many of the different secrets that were supposed to be in the Bible but that were taken out, and all of that. And he says how Jesus is a master alchemist or a highly evolved human. Jesus Christ wasn't nothing but just a personality, one of the many personalities in that sicko's mind, the sicko being Marduk. But people believe Billy Carson. Billy Carson is a fraud too. And here's how you know Billy Carson is a fraud. Billy Carson goes on all of these speaking tours for money. For money. And again, I am not saying that, hey, you can't make money, but you're making money off of things that you shouldn't be making money off of. That's like, for example, there was a guy, I can't think of his name. He's the guy who owns the band, the Wu-Tang Clan. I cannot think of it's a little short white guy who owns this band called the Wu-Tang Clan. And he was raising up the prices for AIDS and drug medication, AIDS and cancer medications. And the backlash he received, and which he should have received it, because what he was doing is he was trying to make a profit off of medications that those who have cancer, those who have AIDS, they need. I mean, and he was trying to make a big profit off of it. That's wrong, because that's life or death medications. Well, the same thing with the reincarnation trick and the prison planet theory. Those are life and death topics. Those are topics that people need to know about. And you got this bozo, Billy Carson, charging $200 and $300 for seminars, speaking tours. Just making, if you're going to make money off of something, make money off of something that's not dealing with those two topics. And he has the fan base to do so. But Billy Carson is a fraud. He is a big time fraud. And going back to Rashad Jamal, who thinks that the Anunnaki are not evil, the Anunnaki are the Aboriginal ancestors. This is a bunch of bull. But you have stupid, silly black people believing that. Oh, that's right, that brother tell the truth. No, he's not. The Anunnaki are very much evil, because let me tell you something. If the Anunnaki weren't evil, where the hell are they? Where's Anu? Where's Ninhursag? Where's Enlil? Why haven't they made their appearance down there and stopped what is happening? They can. They have all the powers and the abilities. Why? You know why? Because they are on the same side as the ones doing all of this bad shit down here. They're on the same side. They're all evil. I don't know why people cannot understand that Enlil and Enki don't give a fuck about you. I don't know why people can't understand that Anu does not give a shit about you. Ninhursag doesn't give a shit about you. And no, they are not any aboriginals. You hear a lot of silly ass black people talking about, yeah, those are our ancestors. They black too. What are you talking about? Number one, they are extraterrestrial beings, and extraterrestrial beings don't believe in race. The black race, the white race. They only created it for you silly saps down here. But outside of this prison planet, they don't believe in black people, white people. They don't believe in that stupid shit. Just like they don't believe in, hey, that's my sister, but I'm going to sleep with her anyway. Oh, wait a minute, let me not do that. That's wrong. They don't believe in the fact that that's wrong. They do it all the time. I'm not saying for people to do it down here, but I'm saying that's what they do. The things that they believe are totally different from the things that we believe down here. So no, there aren't any black Anunnaki beings. Stupid shit. But all of that goes into that racial divide and conquer bullshit again. The Anunnaki are not black. They're not black. They're not white. They're not Latino. They're not Hispanic. They are malevolent extraterrestrial beings who hates every single one of you, no matter if you're black, white, Latino. They hate all of you. They hate you. They hate your children. They hate your dogs. They hate all of you. But I'm not hearing people tell this truth. Why? Because to tell that truth would separate them from the racist ideologies that they have within themselves. The Aboriginals, the Aboriginal ancestors, they are up there at the Summerland. Probably by now have already been reincarnated. Every single slave, Medgar Evers, Emmett Till, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, Huey P. Newton, all of them, they are up there at the Summerland, or they've already been reincarnated. They're gone. Because they didn't believe. Some of them were Christians, some of them were Islam, some of them were Muslims, some of them didn't know about the reincarnation trick. They are gone. They are not the Anunnaki. And the Anunnaki are not coming here to save black people. Sick of this shit. People keep believing this stupid shit, and then they're calling themselves spiritually woke, and you have a bunch of idiot people believing them. And then you have people who are not idiots, but who are looking for the truth. They are being lulled into the belief of these people. This is outrageous. It is insane for people to believe in these frauds. Now let's get on to Bobby Hemmett, who believes that Baphomet is not a bad person. And like I said, I respect Bobby Hemmett because a lot of what he says is true, but a lot of what he says is bullshit. But you have people believing him. And this other guy named Brother Panic, who Brother Panic used to do his videos where in the background he would have a pentagram with a Baphomet in the middle. And I am here to tell you Baphomet is Enki / Lucifer. That's who Baphomet is. But this is who Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic, this is who they thought were good people. This is a good being. They said it all the time. Baphomet has been told to you by the white man that it was bad, but it's not. Yes, it is bad. Baphomet is very much bad because if it wasn't, you wouldn't have a statue to Baphomet in Ohio. Baphomet is the god of the powers that be. Because Baphomet is Enki. Baphomet is Lucifer. The pentagram with Baphomet in it. That is one of their symbols. But people just take what these two men say as gospel when they say things like this. I've heard Bobby Hemmett talk about how people should read Aleister Crowley's book, The Book of the Law. Fuck Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley was an evil Satanist. And that's another piece of garbage who is up there at the Summerland, or he's either been already reincarnated. I don't want to read anything by Aleister Crowley or Anton LaVey. Screw both of them. They were both workers of Enki and Marduk. So why do we have this man, Bobby Hemmett, promoting his work? Promoting the work of Aleister Crowley, the same Aleister Crowley who celebrities worship. Jay-Z, do what thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law. Shit, that makes us no better than that character in 28 years later, Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal, who was serving Satan. That makes us no better than him. I tell you, I don't understand how people can't see this. These spiritual, so-called spiritual people, how people can't see that these people are frauds. They're so big of a fraud. And Rashad Jamal, let me remind you, he is in prison for child abuse and I believe child rape. And if it was so untrue that these charges, aren't true against him, why hasn't he gotten out? He's not a threat to the powers that be like he tells people. They got me behind bars because they trying to silence me because I'm a big threat. Sweetheart, don't flatter yourself. Why didn't they kill Rashad Jamal like they killed Bill Cooper? Why didn't they kill Rashad Jamal like they killed Danny Castellero? Why didn't they kill Rashad Jamal like they killed Roddy Piper? Yes. I said correctly. Yes. Why? If Rashad Jamal is this big ass threat, why isn't he dead? He's just behind bars. Rashad Jamal is just like David Koresh. He's a cult leader who spreads his racism and spreads his lies for, when he was out, pussy and money. That's what it was for. Then I saw this other guy that people are now gravitating towards, Nature Boy. If you don't know who Nature Boy is, look him up. His real name is Elijah Bishop. And I saw this video on social media where he's talking about how when babies are born, babies are nothing more than the reincarnated soul of someone else and all of that. And in the comment section, you have people saying, yeah, he's telling the truth. Yeah, this guy has the truth in him. He's woke. This guy is in prison for life right now. And you know why he's in prison for life? Because this guy was a horrible human being. He would have sex while his child was watching. And then immediately after having sex, he would have his child touch his semen-covered penis. This guy would beat women, rape women, all of this. This guy is not spiritually woke. He is spiritually the truth. I even saw someone say he's the chosen one. No, he's not. He is a demon, an archon in human form, an NPC archon / demon. That's what he is. And that's what all of them are. Oh, and let me go back and remind you how Billy Carson says we can have paradise right here on earth. The same thing that Isabella Green says. And I've seen and heard a lot of people say this who talk about the reincarnation trick. We can have paradise right here. How in the hell are you going to have that? And number one, why would you want to have it here when this is not even your home? You're not even supposed to be here. This is the home of Enki and Marduk. This is their realm. Why would you want to take this realm and turn it into a paradise? Number one, you're not going to be able to do so because Enki and Marduk are not giving up this realm, period. But even if they did, why would you want to turn this realm into a paradise when you have a paradise already? The paradise where you came from. It doesn't make sense. People are talking about the things you should do in order to escape, but they're not even doing it themselves. They're not doing it themselves. Now, I will admit, I tell people all the time, you should meditate on the regular. But I will also admit there are times when I don't meditate all the time. I will wake up in the AM and damn, I forgot about meditating. I will admit that. Will they admit it? No. They won't admit it. They will lie and make it seem as if, oh my God, I meditate all the time. There's not one day that I miss meditating. And if you miss one day meditating, I'm telling you, you're not going to get out. That's bull. Meditate on the daily. If you miss a day, hey, it's okay. You're human. You're in a human body. You're going to miss a day, but don't miss 2 or 3, 4, 5 days. Do the best you can. But that's not what these researchers are telling you. They're telling you you have to be utterly perfect. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that while you're here. Because if you do them, it's game over. That's bull. And they don't even live that way. There's a guy on YouTube, and I'm not going to name his name, but you all have seen him, wears glasses, talks about the reincarnation trick all the time, prison planet theory, and he says you have to be conscious of your emotions. Are you conscious of your emotions all the time, sir? Because I guarantee you, you're not. You aren't. If you aren't conscious of your emotions, I mean, you're not going to be able to make it. You have to be able to not react. Do you go your whole entire day, every single day, not reacting? That's bullshit. It's bullshit. They're telling you bullshit that they don't even practice. Yes, do the best you can to try not to react. But if you accidentally make a mistake and react, hey, because there's no way in hell you're going to be spiritually perfect down here, not in these bodies. There's no way in hell. You're going to slip up sometimes, and that's okay. But no, these researchers tell you can never slip up. Like the stupid rhetoric of, don't eat this because this comes from GMO. Don't eat that because that comes from GMO. But then what the hell are you supposed to eat? If I don't eat this and I don't eat that and I don't eat this and I don't eat that, then what the hell am I supposed to eat then? You're going to have to eat something because I'm telling you, even the organic foods are being tampered with. So what are you going to do? Go to the butcher's. Don't you understand? After a while, they're going to go to those places that are called the butcher's markets, and they're going to have them. Either you comply with giving people fake meat or else, and they're going to comply. So when you go to the butcher's market, they're going to have fake meat. After a while, if they're not already doing it. But all of this stupid stuff, if you eat GMO, you're not going to be able to escape. If you eat bioengineered, you're not going to be able to escape. Well, guess what? Everything that is food is bioengineered. Even over there in those countries. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, I went to London and I'm telling you the food is different over there. It's so much more healthy. How do you know? How in the hell do you know? Just because it doesn't make you feel the same way as the food here in America does. Maybe they're using a different form of bioengineered, a different form of GMO. But do you honestly think that the food in these countries aren't being tampered with? It's just the food in America? Do you honestly think that? Knowing that the powers that be, they don't only control America, they control the whole world. Enki and Marduk don't just control America, they control the whole world. But Enki and Marduk are going to say, okay, no, we're only going to do this to Americans. It's bull. But this is the ridiculousness coming from spiritual people. This is the ridiculousness coming from them. Like I keep hearing people say, you have to ground. If you don't do your grounding work, you're not going to escape. What good is ground? Okay, so grounding. Take your shoes off, take your socks off, and go and walk barefoot. Okay, that's going to help me to escape. How? Because, damn it, there are a lot of prisoners who walk around the prison yard with no shoes, no socks. Are they going to be able to escape because they're grounding? It doesn't make sense. I'm telling you, if you listen to these people, you will see how much they don't make sense. They don't make any sense. So grounding is the key to escape the matrix. Just walking around barefoot. Stupid shit. Sun gazing is the key to escape the matrix. Do you know how many prisoners watch the sun, stare at the sun for hours? Does that mean? And these are murderers, these are rapists, are they going to escape? You see, but this is the bull that they put out, and just people just suck it up. Oh my God, this is so true. This so speaks to me. No, it doesn't. It's speaking to the dumb side of you. That's what it's speaking to. All you have to do is listen to the information to see how ridiculous it sounds. Such as people saying, yeah, we need to go back to Africa. Go back to Africa for what? Don't you think that over there in Africa, they are just as controlled as over here? Every last one of those leaders in every last one of those areas of Africa, all of them are controlled opposition. Every single leader over there, they're all controlled opposition. They're making the people think, hey, I'm on your side. They're not. If they were on our side, they would be dead. John F. Kennedy was truly on our side. I don't care how many affairs he had. I don't care. But he was against the powers that be. And he was about to lift up the curtain to let us know who controls the powers that be. And what did they do? They put a bullet in his head. And not just his head, but his brother's head and his son's head. That's what happens when you are on our side. But every leader in Africa still alive. Bullshit. Africa is just as much a part of the New World Order, the powers that be. Is just as much a part of Enki and Marduk as America is. So go to Africa for what? For what? We need to build our own. Do you honestly think that Enki and Marduk, Lucifer and Satan and the powers that be are going to let you build anything here? Do you honestly think that? To build something that is your own and not give what you are producing within your own to any government entity which is controlled by Lucifer and Satan. Do you honestly think that's going to happen? I'm telling you, it's so tiring. This is why I say all the time, I get so tired of being down here with these people. I look at people today and it's getting to a point where they're almost starting to disgust me just looking at them. I mean, really, when you look at people today, it's getting to the point where they make you nauseated because of how stupid they are. They will believe anything. If I were to come in before the camera in a bikini and start talking about the reincarnation trick and the prison planet theory, but making up all kind of lies and pretending that it is true because I'm in a bikini, oh, people would believe me. Oh my God, she is so the truth. P.S. Montgomery is telling the truth. And I'm telling nothing but a bunch of bullshit. That's how stupid people are. That's how stupid they are when it comes to believing things. And I'm not talking about everyone, because you have the 1% of people who, like myself, we're not buying the bullshit. But then you have the 99% who are just absolutely clueless. Clueless. So all of them are frauds. All of them. Billy Carson, Rashad Jamal, Isabella Green, the guy with the glasses on, David Icke, the only one that I have remotely seen, and I will totally be honest, the only one that I have remotely seen that is absolutely telling He's not about the racial divide and conquer. He's not about that so far. From what I've seen, I don't know what's going to happen years in the future, but so far from what I've seen, it's Wes Penray. To be completely honest, is Wes Penray. Now, there could be others out there. If there are, please show me. But that's the only one that I've seen that is really totally legitimate. All the rest of these people, they're talking about race. They're talking about building their own. They're talking about money. They're talking about how you have to do this, that, and the third in order to escape. And this, that, and the third is ridiculous. They're talking about everything that doesn't even make sense. Oh, and let me get started on this guy named 607 Unk. That's another bozo. He tells a lot of truth. This is why I say, from these frauds, you take what you can and you leave the rest. But some of them, you can't take anything because for some of them, they're just telling 100% false tales, like Bashar Jamal. But for some of them, you take what you can and you leave the rest. That's the case with 607 Unk. This guy named 607 Unk, and he's all over TikTok and different other social media platforms. And he tells nuggets of truth, but then he goes off and he talks about all this other stupid shit. About how he's trying to get this musical artist that he has signed into the music industry and that musical artist. I remember him saying things like this. And I'm like, why would you want to get a musical artist into the industry when you know the industry is Luciferian and satanic? But this guy's supposed to be so spiritually woke. Someone asks, well, I wonder who is behind AI. And you had some dummy say, our people are behind AI because we were the ones who built AI because we built everything on earth. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, oh, it was everything in me to not get upset. No, black people did not create AI. You know who created AI? Enki and Marduk, Lucifer and Satan. That's who created AI. It's their agenda. Their agenda is AI. All of the technology that we have ever had, from the first little cell phone that ever came out, all of that technology came from Lucifer and Satan. Why? To distract the masses, to control the masses. You have to be evil to create that type of technology. You have to be evil to create that technology. You have to have a diabolical mind to create that technology. And who has a diabolical mind? Enki, Marduk, Lucifer, Satan. I don't understand why people don't see this. I sit back and I watch and I listen and I observe, and I don't understand why people cannot see this. They are still holding on to these limiting beliefs, yet they think they're going to escape. Because I'm telling you, and I will say this as my ending, you cannot go to the afterlife and escape any matrix or any prison planet. Well, the matrix. You can't escape any matrix or any reincarnation trick with you still thinking that white people are the enemy. Black people are the enemy. You can't do it. I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to do it. If you're going over with that mindset, you are going to be reincarnated. That is not a if, it is a when it happens, you will be reincarnated. That's not an opinion, that is a fact. You cannot cross over into the afterlife still holding on to the earthly ideologies that Malcolm X had. I'm telling you, you're going to get reincarnated. And I loved Malcolm X. Yo, hey. Because Malcolm X wasn't a fraud. Malcolm X was terribly confused. And his confusion came off of what he saw people who looked like him go through and what he went through. So when he said these things, he actually believed these things. He wasn't saying it to try to lie to people or to fraud people. That he was saying it because he believed it. And that's why that's a sad thing, because that's what he believed. But just because he believed it, don't take what he said and apply it to you as truth and cross over. Because if you do, you're going to get reincarnated. Because what he said was wrong. Segregation is not the answer. believing that white people are the enemy. That's not the answer. The answer is Enki and Marduk. They're the enemy. Separate from them. Segregate from them. The powers that be, they are the enemy. Segregate from them. That's the answer. But if you go over into the afterlife taking the principles that you heard Malcolm X say, the ones that where he said about, hey, all people are the enemy, white people are the enemy. If you go over taking over those racist principles that Malcolm X had with you, you're going to reincarnate. If anything, you take the thing. Now, there were a lot of things that Malcolm X said that wasn't racist. That was all about people uniting. That's what you should take with you. People uniting together. Take that part. Don't take the parts where he's talking about people should segregate from each other based off of skin color. Don't take that. Because I'm telling you, you take that to the afterlife, you're coming back down here. Don't take over into the afterlife the belief that there's a white replacement theory. Don't take that over with you into the afterlife, because if you do, you're going to come back down here. Now, David Icke, when he talks about the white replacement theory, he's not talking about it because this is what he believes. He knows his bullshit. But David Icke is an agent. And his job as an agent is to make sure that people believe that there should be a racial divide and conquer. That's his job. He's doing it on purpose. For someone like Malcolm X, this is what he actually believes. He wasn't doing it on purpose, but David Icke is doing it on purpose. He's doing it on purpose. So why would you take over with you the idea that there is a such thing as a white replacement theory when you cross over into the afterlife? Because if you do, you're going to cut back down here. Now, let me just say this too. There are a lot of white people who talk about the reincarnation trick and the prison planet theory, and they apply the, black people are this and white people, they aren't this. And they don't know what they are saying. They don't know what they're saying, but they're saying these things because of the experiences that they have had and the experiences that they have seen those who look like them have. So you have those white people who are like that. But then you have people like David Icke and Billy Carson and Rashard Jamal, and they know damn well what they're saying is lies. And Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic, and they know damn well what they're saying is a bunch of bullshit. But they don't care, because that's their job. Their job is to divide the people. And so I'm telling you, if you go over into the afterlife with these beliefs, you're going to get reincarnated. There is no separation between black and white. Because number one, as I've said many times before, when you come up out of the body, you are not black, you're not white, you're not Latino, you're not Hispanic, you're not Jewish. That ideology only is associated with the body, not the soul. And outside of these bodies, we are all connected. This is why there was a scene in the film Sinners at the end when character Remick is in the lake, or the pond, I guess it was called a lake, with character Sammy, and he says, Remick tells Sammy, we are all connected, you and I. And that is one of the most strongest lines of that film, because he is so correct. We are all connected, you and I. Fuck a damn black, fuck a damn white. The hell with the damn Latino, Hispanic, and Mexican, Jewish, whatever. We're all connected because we all came from the same place. And before our memories were wiped, we were all vibing with each other. Vibing with each other, having a good time up there in Paroma before Enki and Marduk came and gave us the trick and tricked us to come back down here. We were all vibing. We weren't looking at each other as they look at that white person, look at that black person. We weren't doing that. And so people have seem to have forgotten that. But I'm telling you, you take that mindset over with you into the afterlife, you're not going anywhere. Because when you're talking about letting go of everything, you have to let go of everything. Not just material possessions, but your spiritual mindset that is wrong, your mental mindset that is wrong, your emotional mindset that is wrong. You can't cross over with you still believing in that black people are evil, that there's a white privilege thing. You can't go over. I'm telling you, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You can't go over still thinking that, oh my God, I am the chosen one and there's no one more chosen than I am. You can't go over with that type of mindset because everyone is chosen. It's just that everyone who is not an NPC, they're all chosen. I don't care what color body they're in, they are all chosen. It's just that some people don't realize that they're chosen, but they're all chosen. There's not one chosen person. This is what I wanted to come and say because oh, and one last thing that I'm going to add to this, to my conclusion of this video. People who are believing that they chose to come down here because they wanted to see how everything plays out. I've seen people say this. You chose to come down here because you chose to see, you wanted to see how everything plays out when the end does come. You chose to come down here because you wanted to help others to awaken to the truth. That is the most bull I have ever heard in my life. No one chose to come down here. Let me tell you something. Before you came into the life that you are currently in, you were not told the truth about this world, because if you were told the truth, you wouldn't have wanted to come down here. If you were told, hey, do you want to go back down there and help people to be able to spiritually awaken? Do you want to come back down here to, do you want to go back down there to see how the book of Revelation will play out or how the end times will be? Well, yeah, sure. Okay, but now understand, when you go back down there, you're going to have a life of pain every now and then. It may be headaches, it may be cramps, it may be muscle aches. You may have some kind of disease or illness that will put you in a wheelchair and wrapped with pain. You're going to see your loved ones die. You're going to have to suffer through paying bills on a job. And if you don't eat if you go maybe a week or two or even a month or more without eating, you'll die, and you'll die a painful death. All of this. If you had been told all of that, there's no way in hell you would say, okay, I'm going to leave this paradise realm of trauma and I'm going down there. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell unless you are insane. No one in their right mind would want to come down here for any reason. No. See, but why are people believing that? Because Enki and Marduk and a lot of spiritual fraudsters are going around telling people that you chose to come down here to be a helper, to be a light worker. That is bull. You can believe that malarkey if you want to. No, I will never believe that I chose to come down here because I wanted to help people. No. And me choosing to come down here knowing the full truth about Earth, but hey, no matter me knowing all of that, I still want to choose to come down here. No, there's no way in hell. No. But they want you to believe that so that you will believe it and cross over, continuing to believe that, and then they can trick you again into coming down here again. So this is what I wanted to say. I didn't mean to make this video this long, but I had to come out and say these observations because I'm telling you, the amount of people that we have who think that they're going to escape, I'm telling you, a lot of people, they are going to get to that other side and they are going to be so mistaken. So mistaken. Like I've seen, I will say this is one spiritual researcher, and she talks about the reincarnation trick and all of that and the prison planet theory. Get this girl went ahead and had a baby. And I look at her videos and I'm like, how in the hell can you bring another life into this enslavement? And you know what it is. You know what this world is all about. Why would you bring a life here? You are helping to enslave the planet. But yet she talks about the reincarnation trick and the prison planet theory. Heifer, please. You're a bunch of baloney. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't have a baby, a newborn baby. I would not get pregnant here if they gave me $28 billion. Because I'm not daring to bring another life into this enslavement. Why? Why would I do that to another soul? But people think that this girl is so woke. And she does, she says a lot of truth, but that truth doesn't mean anything because all you have to do is look at that baby beside her. Look at that baby beside her and see that that truth just goes right out the window. Because if it was so true to you, you wouldn't have a baby beside you. You wouldn't dare bring another soul into a life of suffering. That makes you no better than Enki and Marduk. I'm telling you, Pleroma is not going to be that field like people think that it will be. It's not that field now, and I just wholeheartedly believe that. I've never been there, but I wholeheartedly believe Pleroma isn't that field. No, because you have people here who talk a good game, but there's nothing to them. And so this is what I wanted to say. Now, I'm not saying all of these things for you to stop listening to these people. Hey, listen to them if you want. I still listen to Bobby Hemmett from time to time, but I will take the truth of what he says and I will bring that forth and leave the rest. But as far as I'm concerned, Bobby Hemmett is a bunch of bull. And I have to say that even though he's telling some of the truths, he's a bunch of bull, because you cannot tell some truths and some lies and call yourself a truthful spiritual teacher. And you can't do it. You can't do it. So to me, I don't really rock with Bobby Hemmett like that. But I will take the truth that he is bringing, because that's what they all do. They mix truth with lies. Some of them are doing it on purpose. Some of them are doing it because this is what they believe to be the right thing to do. Some of them are doing it on purpose and some of them are not doing it on purpose. But they will take truth and mix it with lies. So what I do, I take the truth from what these people are saying and I'll share it and I'll leave the rest. But when it boils down to it, these people are all frauds to me. Because you're telling truth that's mixed in with lies, which makes you a fraud. Which makes you an absolute fraud. Because there's no way in hell you can be against the prison planet and against the reincarnation trick and promote Baphomet. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell you can be against the reincarnation trick and the prison planet theory and have a 5-star pentagram on your wall. There's no way in hell. So this is what I wanted to say. I'm not saying this for you all to stop listening to these people, but I do want to tell you, if you are taking the ideologies of these people, the ideologies that are wrong, if you are taking it from these people and applying it to your everyday life, and you think that with you doing that, you're going to cross over and escape, I'm telling you right now, you're not. You take what they are saying that is truthful and you apply it to your everyday life. But the things that you know that they are saying that is wrong, ignore it. Do not follow it. Do not pattern behind it. Because if you do, you are going to get reincarnated. I am telling you, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to get reincarnated. Because the wrong things that they are saying are wrong things that will make you be reincarnated. So this is what I wanted to say. Leave your thoughts and comments about this. And for those on TikTok, any type of comments where you're calling me a coon, an in-house nigger, you will be blocked and your comment will be deleted. Because see, I don't have time for that. You're only saying that because I'm not going along with your racist ideology, and I'm not. You are not going to get me to turn against the true souls that are just like me. I don't care what body they're in. Never going to do it. Nope. Call me an in-house nigga. I'm never going to do it. Because see, I know better. I know spiritually better. You don't. So this is what I wanted to say. This is the Afterlife discussion. Thank you all for listening. Until next time.